There have been some signs of success, but how do you think this plan has been working?
まだ3ヶ月、4ヶ月
Very good question. Only 3 to 4 months have passed. If you ask me whether it is sustainable or not, we have not gained full confidence to answer that. But we have thought was the most problematic was that the general public has been stuck with deflation in mind and heart for the past 20 years. People will refrain from buying things today because they know tomorrow they will be cheaper. Unless this mindset is changed and the people buy things today, consumption, near 70% of our GDP, does not grow. That's the biggest problem.
So what is your message to other world leaders who are here in Washington? Could Abenomics increase the risk of a currency war?
円の通貨
The yen's devaluation against the dollar is just a byproduct. What we would like to do is to get out of the recession caused by the deflation. That's our target. We have explained it, and I believe at least we gained understanding from many, as well as the IMF.
Are you worried that if inflation rises, the cost of servicing your debt rises as well?
国債の発行比率
It is true that the balance of national debt is nearing 200% of GDP. We are surely paying attention to that fact. But I hope you would not forget that the Japanese national bonds are issued in the yen and traded in the yen, not the dollar. Foreign buyers of Japanese national bonds are at 8.7% now, and that's all purchased in the yen. It's only the United States, England, Switzerland, and Japan who are issuing the national bonds in their own currency. So we are paying attention to that issue. But it's different from Greece. We are doing it in our own currency, so the condition is very different from the countries in Southern Europe. I must tell you this to avoid any misunderstanding.
They quote George Soros, and he says, what you're doing is actually kind of dangerous. And if the yen starts to fall, which it has done, and people in Japan realize that it's liable to continue and want to put their money abroad, then he says the fall may become like an avalanche. Do you agree with that? Or are you worried about an avalanche?
この種の話は常に
Well, I know there is a type of person who likes to talk about that type of story in any time of history. I know that people like Mr. Soros may have things to say which we will always take into consideration. And I know that if everything's set in motion in a very good way, it might be that inflation starts to shoot up, like in the 1930s. But the government stopped it then by employing all means. We started the policy. We will need to stop it at some point. We should be mindful now that deciding when to stop it will be very difficult.